Welcome to Kolkata, the city of joy and city of culture. How does it feel to be here in Kolkata?
Namaskar. As you said, it's a city of joy, and I'm very joyous to be here with all of you and share our thoughts, our art with the people of Calcutta.
So your journey into Kathak is very interesting. Initially, you started dancing, then your father opposed it. Then he went back to your work, and then again coming back to Kathak. So this whole journey of yours, in short, we could talk about that.
Well, I have always been objected by my parents to get into the field of dance because I was the first son to a very successful businessman who was running an empire of business, assorted business, and then his expectation naturally, like every father has, that the son will grow up fast and take over the business empire, and they would look forward to look at that upcoming of their children. But somewhere I had this desire or a liking for not just dance, but especially classical dance. I do not know, at very young age I was fascinated. Why, I do not know, but maybe there was some sort of a soul calling, I would call. So I used to very silently go to a local dance school. Probably I was just 6 years or 7 year boy, and then go on to the and hold on to the window bars and peep into the classroom and watch beautiful dance being taught and learned, and little girls doing the complex movements. But one day my father caught me in that near the dance school, and then he pulled me by my ear in the middle of the road, and in front of the people, who the public, they slapped me on my face, saying, "If you dare come to this dance class again, I'm going to break your leg." See, at that tender age, when I was threatened by my own father that I'm going to lose my limbs, I never thought of learning dance until I finished my high school, I finished my engineering college. Academically, I'm an engineer, by the way. And only after finishing what I'm expected by my parents, and then I started getting into my family business, then I found there was a sense of void. There was an emptiness in my soul. When I started searching for it, then I felt it's the dance which was seeded in me even at the time of my birth, but it never bloomed. Probably like a bamboo shoot, it takes years and years and years for it to come out of the ground and in all its grandeur grow tall. Maybe it is then I thought I should learn dance. I don't care whether people like it or not, but this could be the calling of my life. I have done everything to satisfy the expectation of my parents. Now it is time for do something to satisfy my soul. And that's where I secretly started looking for a teacher, and then after a couple of trial and going through some teachers who claimed they knew the art, but later I used to find they did not know anything about it, so it was pure exploitation of my innocence. But finally I found an excellent guru who taught me the basics, the mathematics, and the simple geometry of Kathak movements. Then I thought I should advance myself under a proper performing artist and also a good teacher. So from my town, that's Mysore, I had to travel a 4 hour journey every day to the city of Bangalore, and I enrolled myself in Dr. Mayarau's institution, and I started learning dance again from the basics under her guidance.
You mentioned about the Guru, and this Guru Shishya Parampara is a very important aspect of Indian classical dance. But I would be rather interested to know the life lessons you have learned from her.
That's a very touching question because that triggers waves of memories in me. Going to a guru to learn an art form in itself is not the beginning nor a concluding chapter in a student. The Guru Shishya Parampara is more than just teaching and being taught or learning. There is a sort of a personal interaction, an unsaid, unexpressed bond which creates between a guru and a shishya. Let me begin with the very beginning of my interaction with my guru, Dr. Maya Rao. When I went to her institute called the Natya Institute of Kathak and Choreography, I had already stepped onto a professional stage where she had seen me. So when I went to enroll and said, Didi, I would like to join your class, she said, well, you're already in certain level of training, so why don't you come to the senior classes 3 days a week? I said, no, I would like to start right from the scratch, right from beginning, because the ang and the interpretation of the bowls and how you translate them into movements under your direction could be different than what I have learned. So let me start from the junior class. Without even giving a moment, she said, okay, I will put you in the junior class with a condition that you will also come to the senior class. Which guru would say that? So they were looking forward for somebody who has potential to take the art forward. They would like to take them along with them. It's not like an academic timetable, schedules and syllabus that you go through periodically. This is something which a guru gives out of their heart. If the student is ready to absorb and learn and explore all the grandeurs. So this is the very first incidents I felt this is a relationship of a guru shishya. So she was more interested in my growth than adding one more student to her institute which could bring a fees. Second incident, I'm trying to establish the difference between academic way of teaching and learning and a Guru Shishya Parampara. We had Dr. Maya Rao's sister, Chitra Venugopal, who was taking the junior classes. And when I started attending the junior classes, it happened that I hadn't paid my fees. So she was a very strict lady, very disciplined lady, and said, Nagaraj, you have not paid the fees. Please go out of the class, pay your fees and come inside. On that evening, I did not have that money in my pocket. So I was standing outside the class. What do? I have come all the way 140 kilometers just to come to the class and I don't have money. And then I did not even have the guts to tell her I'm going to bring it tomorrow. But her rule was a rule. So while I was wondering about it, then, Maya Didi started. She came and she said, Nagaraj, why are you standing? Aren't you attending the class? I said, no, Didi, I haven't paid my fees. Oh, is that so? Do one thing. She opened her purse, gives me the fee amount and said, go pay and then attend the class. If she was just another teacher, she wouldn't have done that. That is a true guru, and then it becomes our duty to be in tune with that parampara.
Wow, fascinating.
Other things like the art, conveying the art, what she learned from her guru, Shambhu Maharajji, and then she teaching us and we learning is another aspect of it. But I'm talking about what is a Guru Shishya Parampara, that is a relationship away from the boundaries of the art, which establishes a strong bond between a teacher and a taught.
True. Sir, I was very curious to know about your artistic process and create any creative project. Where do you draw inspiration from in terms of choreography?
It's very difficult to pinpoint. There is no formula set out. So I cannot say step number 1, step number 2, step number 3. But how do I go about it? And where I got this inspiration and how I got this idea of how to handle a subject. Once I asked my guru, Dr. Maya Rao, that Didi, I would like to learn Thumris. She said, what do you want to learn? You are a male dancer. Why do you want to learn a girl's item? I said, it's not, no, we have to grow beyond our gender, biological aspect of ours and get into the character which the Sahitya is trying to convey. And that's why I want to learn. And who was Shambhu Maharaji is the, he is the Ustad in Abhinay. And you have learnt whatever he could transfer to you. And I'm so fortunate to be with you, Didi. I want to learn. Okay? Wait for the day I will call you myself and teach you. But she allowed me to sit next to her. While she's sitting on a chair, I would sit down on the floor at her feet and watch her instruction to the other girl students. The way she would explain the basic bhav of the Naika of that composition and how do you approach that bhav and how do you express. She would say first you start off with Sattvika Abhinaya, which involves only the internal feeling you go through in your heart and soul and its echo, its reflection on your breathing, on how much you open your eyes or how much tilt of your neck. All these are Sattvik Abhinaya. So when an audience look at you, they immediately know what is the Sthayi Bhava of the Naika or the character, whatever you're portraying is. Having set that as a canvas for you, then you start going for meaning of the Sahitya and then start emoting to it. Then you find out associated meaning for the Sahitya and the Bhav. Associated meaning with nature, with people. And then you transcend to interpretative meaning. Find out these similes and metaphors which could complement the feeling you're going through. So you see, there is a gradual stepping up, building up the emotion. Ultimately, when you convey your dance, you have put vivid colors of emotion on a simple sattvic canvas you established in the beginning. Now this aspect was so much instilled in me that I started using this in every minute choreographic works. I would not go what the audience are going to expect, whether the audience like it or not. I wouldn't go, but I would see how I would like to present to my satisfaction. But then, after its performance, if there is something which lacked, yes, I'm ready to correct it myself and improve in the next presentation. But I have always found that my kind of audience, they tuned themselves to my frequency. So that got established to connect with my audience with whatever choreographic work I take to. But even there, I do not go for unfolding a long story. Usually I pick up an element of a broader story and then develop in all its emotional levels and present a dance feature. So I'm very much focusing on the finer aspects of the story, the emotions of the characters of a larger story, which usually people know the story. I don't have to tell the story, but I need to make the audience experience my perspective of those characters. So that's what makes some of my choreography a little hatke than just unfolding a Puranic story on the stage. They don't need to see that, they already know the story. And I am not very keen in contemporarizing things. I would like to keep the sanctity of the art form, the character, the stories in all its originality. As far as I can understand what originality is. Just to please the audience, I don't want to go into modern approach and all that. But I definitely use technology, modern technology, to enhance my traditional artistic outbursts. And what I also try to do in my choreographic work is I do a lot of research, I read a lot of stuff, and I am personally very spiritually inclined. So I go for what you call spiritual oriented stuff, and those psychic experiences, spiritual experiences one goes through, I would like to reflect that in my choreography and use technology for it. Just to give a very quick example how I use technology is when I was doing a production on the 5 manifestation of Lord Shiva, because the whole subject was Panchavaktra, one of the names of Shiva. When I was reading the Dhyana shlokas of each of these 5 manifestations, the shlokas, the Sanskrit composition itself gave me what should be the costumes, what should be the color of the makeup of the artist, and what happens when a yogic practitioner sits in meditation and thinks of that Shiva, what is the inner chakra awakening and the lights they see, the sound, the bija mantras they hear. When those are already written down, all I need to do is translate that into experience than beyond the literature. So I would ask my technicians, okay, it's okay, I want you to do a proper lighting on the stage, on the artist, but the entire auditorium walls should be engulfed in that aura of that meditative color referred in our scriptures. So much so, at the end of the performance, there were very sensitive people. They would say, your dance was good, everything was nice, but there was something beyond that which we experienced, but I don't know how to express that extraordinary experience I had. See, use of technology through lights and colors, and I also use fragrance. For each of the Shiva, different fragrance associated without telling the audience, and they experienced it. It was ethereal for them. This is how I would make a lot of changes, my personal approach into my choreographic works.
So talking about the trust, articulate trust, what is the mission and vision of the trust?
It's multifaceted. First of all, Me being trained in the years of 1980s and 90s onward, when it was time where women dominated the art scene, and I went through humiliation starting from home. I had no encouragement from my own parents, and I had to learn dance stealthily without their knowledge. And I felt male dancers need proper platforms, encouraging opportunities to showcase their art, irrespective of which form of classical dance. But I was very particular. I am a promoter of only Indian classical dance and only that and nothing else. So that was one of my missions, that I should provide platforms purely for the male dancers. But then I thought, why should I be partial? Let me give opportunities for male dancers, but also there are so many youngsters who need opportunities. So I started this articulate festivals, and I started with one festival every month in my city of Mysore, and people were so appreciative. Yes, then I doubled it up to every 2 weeks one festival, and in that I could showcase about nearly 500 young artists. Then I'm having an annual festival in Bangalore where I call established, internationally recognized artists to come and share their art form. This is one aspect of my trust. Second is, whatever I knew in the field of Kathak and what people thought my presentations and my repertoire is slightly different than the normal ones they see. And they were telling, after you who? Should it end with you? So that gave me, your kick in my where it pains. And then I said, okay, if people want to learn it, why should I keep it only for myself and take it to my grave? So then I thought, okay, let me start my dance studios to teach young aspirants who want to learn Kathak. So I have articulate dance studios where I teach, but it's a very organic area. It's not just I teach the mathematics and the geometry of Kathak, but I teach them language, Sanskrit. I teach them what our culture is, what is the underlying meaning of our customs of India, and how that reflects in the literature, and therefore how a dancer should be able to share in their art form to the audience. So it's a very holistic, very organic dance studio I run. I also dabbled with training visually challenged, and I found out, why are they talking about the disabilities? Why don't we talk their abilities, whatever ability they have? And I could pick up some people who have that sense of rhythm, but they don't have the vision, they don't have the sight. So we evolved. In fact, I learned from the blind how to teach the blind, because they taught me how to teach them. So in the process, I combined the teaching pedagogy with the art, and then I have taught them and created platforms for them, took them on concert tours right across the world to tell people that what normal people can do, even the blind can do. If not better, at least as good. Well, and then my productions. Of course, I have repository. I have about 25 productions right now on my hand. These things keep me busy. I have a lot more interest. It all depends.
So, final question to you. Since you've been a promoter of Indian classical dance and organizing events and all, how do you make these Indian classical dance festivals more closer to the younger audience? Because still there seems to be a gap between the youth and the Indian classical dance, performing dance.
Well, you cannot directly try to offer a buffet of dance art to the young people. They have their own limited understanding about the art form. Therefore, I encourage sharing this art among the young people at the stage of the schools and colleges. Introduce to them what Indian artist, prepare them and entice them to come to the concert hall to see the real art. But if you want to pretend you're holy and I don't want to touch the other things what other people do. I would like to keep the purity of my art. I don't dance there. I don't dance here. I'll only dance in concert halls. Well, you need audience. And if the young people do not come to the audience, what's the point in you dancing? So my approach is to introduce the youngsters with the nuances of the art form at a very young age in the setting of their own and entice them to come. And when they come into the audience, into the auditorium, that is where you give them the real art, not cater to their taste. So what we call as, see, whatever you emote in your heart, expression through the dance medium, if you make the audience feel the same vibration in their heart, that is when you call Sahrudayi. Otherwise, they just becomes Rasikas. So you should make the young people first equip them with knowledge of the Indian art systems, then bring them to the audit. Don't expect them to straight away come and sit on your lap to savor. It will not happen. At the same time, be careful not to dilute your art form just to cater to their sensitivity or their limited sensibilities. Don't do that. You're spoiling the art and you're spoiling their mind. They are all fresh people. They are clean slate people. It's in your hands what you want to write. Write proper things in the young mind. This is what my approach is.
Thank you for this wonderful interaction, and we hope to see more in the city.
Hopefully, snap your fingers. I'll come to your city anytime.